So what are we starting off with?
There we go.
I don't know, bro.
Welcome. How we doing today, guys? We're back in episode 3.
It's been working all week.
On Breaking Bread with Ray, Charles, and your boy Jesus Ortiz.
I'm tired.
So I know it. You tired?
I'm tired.
I know, but you be having a good day.
I've been having a great day. How about yourself?
Look, me too. Look at your shirt you wear.
I see this. I think about this.
You're Superman, he's Batman, and I'm Flash. Oh, no, I don't want to be Flash.
League?
I don't want to be Flash. Justice League. Have y'all seen the movie yet?
No,
Man.
What do you call it? Snyder Cut.
4 hours, dude.
I don't have enough time to watch it.
4 hours.
4 hours.
4 hours.
I watched the whole 4
I don't know
hours.
that's 4 hours.
I'm not wasting 4 hours. You tell me about it, though. I'll listen about it all day long.
But it was really good. Yeah, like the same thing in my mind. It's like my brother came in and he's like, I'm gonna watch it with you. And my other brother's like, it's 4 hours. You know what he did? Oh, bye guys. I ain't gonna be here with you for 4 hours. He left. I thought he was joking. He didn't even watch it. I was like, man. But when you like something like that, it was like family thing. You got into it. Like today is the King Kong versus
Godzilla.
That's what the whole family is watching tonight. So I was like, all right.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It starts up tonight?
Yeah. I'll watch it when I get there by myself. Well, I just do it tomorrow.
All right. So how's your week been? What's happened since last week?
It is Wednesday. You know what? I don't know why out of all days of the week we picked the hump day. You know?
Yeah.
I do. Answer. Stop. I'll give one.
Go ahead.
Encouragement. Pick it up.
No. Go ahead.
No.
The only thing I'm
Why?
saying-
Why hump day?
Why hump day?
You're halfway through. Come on.
What if I'm just having a terrible week? And then we say, oh, we got to do the podcast.
No. It's like
Then I come here with the wrong energy.
it goes. It for me. It always goes back to the same thing when we were working out. It's getting underneath that one more squat. If lifting weights, bodybuilding, or at least attempting to be a bodybuilder, I was kind of soft. I ain't gonna lie. But if all those things, if taught me anything, it was enough discipline to say, you know what, when it gets hard, go one more step.
Right.
And if you talk, what's the worst? You talk about we can do start your gym first day, right? You're going to go tomorrow. You're going to get started. You're already started.
Yeah.
You're already there. You already know the goal.
Well, it's just getting. Yeah. So I keep driving myself today. So the main thing is here. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. Why?
Just get it.
I'm here to encourage.
Yeah.
Come on.
But
One more rep.
So I say that just because
2 more reps.
It's Wednesday. It's the hump day. But in all honesty, I mean, it's been a solid week. You know, it's been a solid week. We're about to wrap up the month of March. What's this month?
Today's last day.
The last day.
March 31st, man.
My wife's birthday was yesterday, so I like
Happy birthday to your wife.
Happy
Feliz
birthday.
Año Nuevo, Feliz Cumpleaños. You know, I need to give her one of those.
Feliz Año Nuevo?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
I was like,
Feliz.
happy. He said happy New
Date-
Year.
Yeah, I said happy.
No,
New
not
Year.
yet, dude.
So is that a date night in Spanish? Is that like code for date night?
No, I was trying to say happy birthday.
Okay.
Feliz cumpleaños.
Well, I'm just saying it was yesterday, and I'm just trying to put the lingo together for the rest of the gringos. That's all.
Yeah. So no, you know, and that's whole that goes back to the whole thing of COVID, which has kind of changed our lifestyle and what we do. You know, so we've got bigger goals right now. So instead of going and buying her these gifts right now, I'm like, look, the bigger goal is I'm trying to buy you a house.
Mm.
I can buy you a
I
present.
thought you was going old school, getting her cattle and land.
That is the idea.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
we're trying to buy that. So I said, look, I can get you a present. If you want a present, I'll get you something right now. But I don't want to take away from what we're doing about the goal. You know, the main goal. So I'm trying to stay on focus, trying to stay on drive.
Yeah.
The main thing.
Communication.
Yeah. But again, not to slight it. I mean, I'll take care of it.
Oh, yeah.
But I say, look, my idea is to be your present to be the new house. You know what I mean? And that's something that she wants. So that's what we're moving to, So big goals like that. We're really just trying to keep the eye on the prize. I mean, that's week in and week out. I mean, I'm going to work. We get up early. We get up at 4:30 in the morning. So, hey,
How's that meditation?
Hold on.
you get up early too, right?
Yeah, how's that meditation?
So I did my meditation today too.
It's gonna get you get used to it.
I'm gonna look up something and go. And I know you shouldn't do that, but step for step, I want to know where I should go with my meditation. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because it's so easy I'm going to meditate for a couple of minutes, which really me could be just laying still in the bed. I need to get up.
No, you need to get up.
I
Yeah.
need to get up. Because if you lay in the bed, you can go right back to sleep.
Back to sleep. Yeah.
So I need to get up and go somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then just do a couple of minutes of meditation. Yep. And then start my day.
Start your day.
Yeah.
And everybody that I tell them about that I wake up at 5 and do this, like, damn, how did you wake up at that? And like, I don't believe that there's like I don't know if I get it. Like everybody says, oh, there's like you're a morning person or a night person. I just don't believe that. I think that it depends on you.
No.
It depends on
morning
because he can be like, hey, I'm gonna meditate at 8 o'clock. I'm gonna exercise.
You're a morning person. You're a night person.
She said you don't believe in it though.
You don't believe in it. How do you function better?
In the morning.
You
You're a
function better.
morning person. If you function better in the morning, you're a morning person.
But some people function better at night, right? They're a night person.
Yeah.
I'm a 3 to 11 person. I like working 10 to 6. I like the 10 to 8. I love sleeping on my bed. I love Houston, but I hate this traffic.
No, man.
I hate this traffic. And that's why I'm like, I plan. That way, I purposely know if I get up at 10, I stop and take care of my dogs. I'm living. Strangely enough, I live my life on I actually do have a schedule. And learning to be not as busy while I'm being busy, take time out. So I appreciate you guys for showing up tonight.
No, thank you.
Pushing through.
I love this. It's already like a schedule in my mind that I know Wednesday at 7, and everybody that I meet is like, guys, Wednesday at 7. Please don't miss Breaking Bread. It's episode 3 today, right?
It's okay. So in the camera though, you can see how much the shop has changed from last week
to
this week.
Yes, you
and
can.
The beauty of it is we're not using the LEDs.
Yeah, but you didn't give us the intro. You didn't tell our viewers where we're at. That's what you did.
No. We'll get to them in a second. I'm tired. Listen, most of them have logged on, and if they see it's going for longer than 10, 15 minutes,
Where do you want to put the rest?
just set them down anywhere. That'll work. So anyway, taking time out of my day means that this time away from the shop to sit down with you guys, and it's something I definitely look forward to. It's in my schedule. It's been rough. I'm thinking to myself, I'm moving all this stuff. We're scrubbing these walls. I'm hating life. But the thing is, I wasn't really hating life. I ain't gonna lie about it. I was absolutely thrilled to be in here and scrub. I'm taking pictures, sending them to my best friends.
It's good, right?
Yeah, I'm so ready to have that. I'm thankful for how far the show has come so far. There's some big things that happened. We're putting together the playground out back. So since we're on that, let's talk. So we're live at Lucky Chucky's Chop Shop here at.
Tell them where we're at.
Yeah, we're here off of Katy Land in Old Katy. We're gonna be broadcasting live from the show every week. And the first couple podcasts we've done, we've talked about having people show up. And actually, so what's really cool is I was moving in, and you know how you're moving into somewhere new, trying to get adjusted. You're looking at it. The kind of. I thought I had a lot of crap. I really thought I had a lot of crap. It wasn't until I moved mountains of crap that I realized how much extra crap that I have. But the thing is, the things that were being left behind at the last place I was in that I was holding on to, like the fire pit showed up. The fire pit works. It's not small. It's not dainty. We're going to take care of that. But it works. It fits everything I'd like to do and we want to do with either the podcast or the outreach on Sundays for the car shows, to the way we treat our customers and clientele here at the shop. It fits. It fits. And I think living this past year, because you guys ready? Can we go ahead and get into COVID?
Yeah. Oh, one more thing, guys. Our people that are our group that are 107 already on the members. There's a little link that you click so I can actually see who's actually leaving a message, because right now you said I'm not a morning person, but I don't know who you are.
Yeah, you got to go. So they have to go to the page.
No, it's easy, man. Even if I'm
saying, you got to realize I don't. Yeah. This is the best thing I have as a computer. If anybody,
you're good.
It's a busted iPad.
Like right away when we go live, it tells you if I'm using StreamYard. Click on this link, so I'm giving you permission so I can know that you're here. That's it.
See, hold on. But the other thing is, I went directly to our page on Facebook.
Oh, you're good though.
So
you can still see it.
If they're watching it, just go to our page, like I did.
Yeah.
I'm a simple-minded person. I'm not.
Oh no, and they're in our page. Like it's running in our page. So like,
but they can't comment.
Like no, the comment. Yeah, they can. But I won't be able to see who it is. But you can, because they're on our page. On our page, I can see who it is. Okay. But in this system, you have to click on the link and then it gives you permission. But you'll be able to see who you make it smaller if you want to see the comments, right? I told them a lot of times. I even make little videos, but hey,
anyway,
it's all good.
Figure that out and have it by now.
Yeah.
So do us a favor. What do we see? We see 2 people on and 2 people liking it. Now I'm not okay with that. So I'm going to challenge those 2 people to do us a favor.
Oh yeah.
And share this to everybody else real quick.
Do that.
Actually take time out to do what you said you were going to do to start with. Right? Or at least the thing I'm asking you to do. If you like it that much and you're listening, I'm telling you, find a friend, grab something to eat, sit down, get ready. We're about to go on where I think we've always wanted to be, and that's down to the conversation. We're down to the table conversations. You guys have met us for the past 2 shows. It's a great prequel to how we feel. But at the same time, there's a lot that we discuss outside of and after the show or before the show, and I think bringing that onto what we're doing. There's a lot of good hot topics and a lot of things that we could be talking about.
Right.
But when we started today, we both said that sticking with the COVID thing, sticking with the mask, vaccines. Are we vaccinating? Yeah.
So I'll say
have you changed from last week to this week? That's what I'm asking.
So I have not.
You have not.
But
and have
today-
you?
No, I'm taking it. I've been looking around so I can get it.
So are you taking the Pfizer one or which?
Whatever it is.
Whatever
but,
they give you?
whatever
Okay.
they give me. But there's none. I went to HEB and did my research on all of these. I even called my clinic.
Yeah.
They haven't called me back, and I mean, I guess.
So today I had, some family members down in Brazil. They took the vaccine today. About three or four of them took. The only thing again, that's a whole different country. It's a different thing going on down there. I'm not sure what vaccine they're using because it's a different country. It's not like there are companies that created the vaccine in their country. So what they're using is some vaccine probably from another country. So if that doesn't sound alarming enough, I just don't. I need more data. So when we talk about the vaccine, I say that I need more data. I'm not. Again, I think we talked about this before. I don't criticize anybody who wants to take the vaccine, but
There we go.
It's about
Sorry.
having more data.
Who fixed it?
Said Keenan.
Thank you,
Thank you, Keenan. Sorry about that, bro.
Keenan, and Keenan, of all people who do watch this, he will be coming with this. He'll be here this Saturday. Great friend at the ribbon cutting at noon here at the shop. Man, don't you ever? You just don't use Facebook, do you? It's the one thing I use to reach out. I'm like, all right, I sent the invite. So here's what I did. I sent a public invite, right? I got on Facebook, created an event, 1,200 people. As I say, getting back around to COVID, we'll get there in a second. But anyway, hold on. So 1,200 people, I'm on there, right? I just lost my screen. Anyway, so I put a blank invitation. Anybody who wants to come out, see it. I made a couple of people moderators. I'm like it, share it, do whatever. I'm at a point where I want to I want to invite people in. I want people to start come meet us, see where we're at. To make that.
So what day?
So hold on a second. So Saturday. So I waited.
Okay.
There's a few of you, right, that I appreciate.
So in the podcast, are you inviting?
I'm inviting.
Yeah, and it's in there. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
If you're there, if you're listening,
being all mysterious about it.
No. If you're listening, because I want you to come at least find us and see what we do. What actually allows me to sit here with you guys and just kind of enjoy myself. You know what I mean? I waited so long to have a chill spot, and I love what I do. I really every frustration, everything that's going on. And I ask about the fact, are we vaccinated? We're not vaccinated. Because the way I see it is, a year ago, when everybody said, we're going to have to go inside and we're not going to be able to do anything, this, that, and the other, I looked at my son and I was like, you know what, bro? What it sounds to me like is we just got grounded for a couple of months. So let's go make the best of it. I went back to my childhood, back to my toys, started playing with my things and putting stuff together, tearing things apart, learning about things that I didn't know, trying new things, right? And being creative because I felt like I was so trapped and I say that because I'm not ready to go conspiracy theorist 101, but I felt so trapped into what I was doing, and now I see these people and they're worried about the vaccinated, they're coming out of their house, they're not coming to their house, and I'm like, do you realize how much time when you talk to me, I feel like you lost in life? Like you just did a sentence, and now they're telling you might get paroled if you get a vaccine. That's how I'm hearing it. If you come downstairs and apologize to your sister, don't smack your little brother around anymore. I'm like, but they were the ones fighting. Like I had nothing to do with it.
Well, but look. And this is we call it time management. I don't know what you want to call it. But when I first said, hey, look, okay, lockdown. So the first thing I did was like, all right, great. Now, me and the wife, we were going to the gym 6 days a week. That's just normal for us. We take one day off. So I said, you know what? And you never know. When they first started, we didn't know how long lockdown.
Oh, yeah. Nobody knew, man.
The first lockdown I ever had in my life. So I don't know how long the damn lockdown is. So, first couple of weeks, I said, we are good with it because really, when you're doing all that lifting and working out, it's a lot of stress and strain on the body. So I said, we're going to take this as a vacation and just chill. But here's the other thing that you need to do. First thing I thought was, well, what's the self-improvement plan? What am I going to do now that
now you got time on your hands?
We kind of got time. Now, mind you, I went to work every day, and I'm talking about I kept going. I was an essential worker, so I kept going into the office. But here's the thing, I'm the only one. So I work in an area where there's 7,000 people normally, but what happens? There's maybe 100 people, 150 people max when it used to be 7,000 daily. But when you're in there, you got time on your hands. And the main thing you got to do if you have anything like that is start talking about self-improvement. You need to think to yourself, like, what am I going to do if I got this time to make myself better?
Time on my hands.
So start grinding. And then here's the other thing. If you're on lockdown, shit, you can come to your shop and you can get things done if you wanted to.
But that was a choice I made in life.
But this is a
I'm
playground.
saying, hold on.
This is the playground.
People say, you're so, I do actually get that you're so lucky a lot. And I've got friends and people I hang out with that I promise you the craziest stuff happens when you hang around them. And maybe it's just doubled up energy and people don't want to talk about that either. Anyway, so ultimately, do you feel like you are in a better personal, as a father, let's go back to that. So after the last year, do you feel like you're in a better state than you were before it? Or do you feel like you're in worse? Did your relationship improve and disapprove? And then also, how does your wife feel about the vaccine?
So we may not be in agreement with a lot of things. My wife leans very hard right.
Okay.
She leans right. To me, I like to call myself middle / maybe a little left. A little bit, somewhere in there. Right?
So she extends her and go love my way. So you gonna break me now.
So, but for the question of, has it, so I don't feel like it has changed. We've had some stress, maybe a little bit in the relationship, but I don't think that's any normal stress.
But I'm saying that as a family unit, like you and her together, if you looked around, because some other people who've been going through this.
There's a lot of people.
So do you feel like you're in a better or worse position because you actually took time out a year ago to say, I'm going to do some self-improvement while this is going on?
I would like to say better, but honestly, I think
quality of life is your quality. Are you happy with your quality of life versus where you think it could have been if you made alternate choices?
That's a different question, but I think it's sane. So I say sane in the sense that, prior to the pandemic just shutting everything down, we had that goal. So our goal was to have our own farm, right? But prior to, we were on that, but then life was different. Then we were able to do a lot of things that were different outside of the city versus inside the city. Then when it started to hit, man, everything changed. But the outside of the city did not change. There's a different type of vibe outside of a major city than there is inside the city. Right. Inside the city, everybody was wearing masks, everybody was social distancing. Outside the city, no masks and handshakes. I received handshakes from people.
Yeah,
so the reason being was because the city had a lot of the issues and outside didn't. So, but through all of that, we're in the same position because we're still looking for a property to this day. What's changed is a lot of things. The environment has changed around us. So the real estate market right now is booming because people are fleeing cities or moving from right to left. We're getting a lot of people in from California, moving down here to Texas. There's a whole bunch of movement going in the real estate game. So that's increased prices for us. And so on that level, we're still on the same path. That's why I say it's the same. But, relationship-wise, we're still strong. Here's the thing. We have been going to church. Now, when they did initial lockdown, hey, the greatest thing about living in 2020 was that we have technology that allowed us to do things like Zoom, that allows us to do things like podcasts. So we're still able to at least be in connection with people digitally. So when this went down, we were doing church on Zoom. So as soon as we were able to, we went back to church in person. What I have noticed is the churches are empty. So if you thought all these people are scared because of this nasty virus that's in the world, you would imagine that, all these people think it's the end of the world, and these churches should be full.
Yeah, it should be full of people worried about being in the world.
Well, okay. I mean, if it's as bad as it,
if it's as bad as what they keep saying it is,
then the church should be full.
Which is why.
What I'm telling you is that the church, my church, it is my church. I can't speak about everybody's church. My church ain't full.
they're probably sitting 50, 75% capacity where we go on Sundays.
If it was Texas is open.
Yeah.
So it means 100%.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who are not getting to go anywhere.
So does that say that people are still too scared to come out?
There's still a lot of people.
Okay. If an asteroid was about to hit the Earth, and we said, man, this is it. We probably we know, like, let's say 3, 4, let's say a week out. We know that the asteroid's going to come. Would people run to church? Would people repent? Would people,
damn, that's
God forgive me? Does that happen?
Sense.
To me, it's the same sense. I thought we were in the same boat. All these people were saying we're about to die. 500 plus thousand Americans have died.
So I guess also the way I would think about that is how odd is it that so many people claim to believe in God and are not worried about, right? They really don't have that kind of fear. I heard that, I picked it up from somewhere, and they said, love Tupac. Not gonna lie, I love Tupac.
Yeah.
It's something I grew up with. I was beating in my car. Like, what made me today was part of listening to Tupac riding around in my car when we were cool. But when he says only God can judge you, if you're fully aware that your life, that only God can judge you, and you don't have a clean conscience, maybe these people have a clean conscience, right?
It could be.
But I would just say, but at the same time, if you allowing Cardi B to go wop, wop, wop and take off some cartoons, I'm not saying some of the stuff I saw in cartoons weren't offensive. I saw it as more of adult humor that people were, adults might have caught it then, and they're laughing about it. To me, it's no different than like The Simpsons or one of the, maybe not so much The Simpsons, but like the old. I'm watching all these things like tearing down, the Mickey Mouse stuff, or who else they're taking all Dr. Seuss. Like, okay, is there some things they shouldn't say? Yeah, we're smart enough to say there's some things we shouldn't say to each other. Okay, cool. I'm good with taking that down, right? But I can't make up for what happened at that point. At the same time, most of the stuff I see a lot of Christian people getting upset about, it ain't about what their kids are doing or the way they live in or anything else. They're more worried about what they're seeing on TV, right? So I guess that to get into the spiritual side of what we should be talking about all the time is, well, I'm glad you led that way, but it was, where are people at, right? Where the heck are they at? What's going on? Because you don't, some people are extreme conspiracy theorists. Some people are and I say conspiracy theorists, listen to me. If you're a person out there sitting underneath my voice right now, I'm going to tell you that in America, I feel like you have the right to feel the way you do, and so do I. And I ain't going to fight with you about it. But I ain't pushing your agenda on you. Don't push your agenda on me, right? Fair, just walk away. But to sit around and tell me I have to do something, I have to take something, to start putting pressures in all these areas of people's lives, and you have the fear we've discussed over the mask, or you do have a mask, do you not have a mask? I was saying you get a vaccine. At first, they're telling you get a vaccine, and it doesn't guarantee anything. Some of these people out here who feel like you absolutely have to have a vaccine because it's the best thing for you. I got to stop and question you why you think you know what's best for me, right? Because I'm back to faith, and that's where I'm going to leave it at, right? Like I'm telling you what my faith is, where my stance is, because this is who I am. Right. And I think that's what helps people like me and you and others overcome friendships and stuff like that. So while they're at the churches, do you communicate? You spend time communicating with people at your church? Like, some people from your church? You don't have to say their names. I'm just saying, you friends with a few of the couples or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's a small church to begin with. So it's easy to, I know that person. It's easy to know because you see him, right? And here's the thing: throughout this pandemic, since we've been back into the church, it's the same people. So more or less, maybe one weekend this person didn't come, but for the most part, it's the same 4 people that have been going. And we're 100% open now, which means it's all good. We can all open up and I'll be there.
But they don't come. Just a little few people.
It ain't there.
Because there's still people worry about the same.
In all of these movies, you remember all these disaster movies came out, 2012, all this end of the world type of movies. Man, I just thought, at the end of the world, I thought, man, people would be like, you know what, man, God forgive me, God, help me. It ain't there. But I'll tell you this, there have been raves that have been, complete, full. There have been bars, there have been clubs, those have been open, And again, everybody doesn't have to be religious, everybody doesn't have to be Christian. I'm just saying that I thought that there would be more people who identify as that would be there.
But he had a point where he said, when you believe, it's like you don't have that fear.
Yeah, you're not afraid of it.
Like I really don't have. Somebody asked me 2 days ago, what is your fear? Like, we cannot answer that. They asked me that. It was a girl that asked me, what's your fear right now? And I actually told her, like, I truly don't know that I don't have any fear. And she would say, what do you mean? Because back of the old Jesus, I had so many fears.
Right.
But now when I believe and I'm doing work through Christ, through God, it's like, I don't know what fear I have. Like, I don't really want to think about that negative side of it, because then you get to it and then you gotta start thinking, all right, so I do have fear of this, I do have fear of that.
Right.
Then I just like focus on what we're doing right now, like doing the podcast and helping other people. That kind of opens up your mindset that there's no fear. Like, you're going on that right path through God.
So let me ask you this real quick. This is a question for both of you. Do you fear COVID?
No.
No.
Go ahead. Why?
I don't fear it.
And I don't fear it because, like I told you last time, I believe that if I put in that vaccine, like whatever it is bad in there, none of that is going through me, because I have that armor of God in me. So everything that is good in it is coming to me. Everything that is evil in it is just.
See, that's what I like about that too. So you have that point of view on faith, and mine says that just to be absent from the body is to be present. Right? I can't sit here tonight and wholeheartedly. There's no way I could look at you and say, "How do you feel about God?" Right? Like ultimately, this whole show is about where we started. Was you said people need to get to know. You said I got a lot to talk about. We got to do this. We want to sit down. We thought we were doing something totally different. This is the way it ended up. I don't fear COVID. I fear God. If only God can judge
There
me,
you go.
then that's the only thing I'm afraid of. And I feel like if more people experienced and felt the way I did inside, I think we could see at least get to a point where, like, if you want to talk about vaccines, I'm cool. You want to get a vaccine, get a vaccine. You don't want to get one, don't want to get one. But I don't want anybody limiting what I'm doing around me by what I'm doing, or at least keep me from doing what I love to do. Beyond that, I think so many people are afraid because they don't have that same faith. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that faith. Whether people like our lives or not, disagree with everything, I'm living on my faith at this point. Like, I learned when COVID hit, I don't want to say my worst fears were realized or whatever, but at the same time, I thought to myself, I was like, what if this really is me? I'm one of those people who did. I've been searching, trying to find, and I was like, God, how do I get this? And then after, we experienced it from February, March, so finally we get to up to around Christmas. I was like, somewhere through that, God taught me to stop being afraid. Right? That's why I really feel like that's where I am. That's where I feel like my life's going the way that it's going. It's because I gave up the cares of this world. I'm doing what I do because I love what I'm doing. I love to be around people who want to be around me. I don't mind to go in a crowd and talk to people who don't know me. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like to be around me, that's cool. I'm free to leave. Like, trust me, I'll be the first person to step away from an issue. But I'm hoping to see that maybe that more churches are filled with people as we go through this. I'm still not 100% on the vaccine, not on the vaccine, for the simple reason of what are they leading it to? Like, ultimately with my faith, where would that lead me at? So I feel like I've been looking at the whole thing from a different perspective this time, and I said, looking at the world around me when we finally got a chance to stop, I'm like, more people need to realize how to not live in fear.
Well, initially, this is what happened. They made us think that it was everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? I remember walking around wearing gloves. I don't know if you guys did
me too, dude.
walking around wearing gloves.
Just one, like 2
I'm
times.
just telling you, this is where it was at. They're like, look, don't touch that, and you touch your face. It was real serious at the beginning. It's still serious, but we didn't know where the hell this thing was.
Well,
It was like it was an invisible enemy.
Hold on, pause. Did you ever, since you like conspiracies, I'm gonna challenge you.
Yeah.
I need you to watch a 15, 18-minute intro, right? And I'll say like this, like you said, like God is giving you the thing where you don't feel afraid because anything that's in that's not going to affect your body negatively because of your faith, right? One of those faith things is to say that God's always speaking and talking, and too often I think people sit around and be worried about, well, where did you hear it from? This, that, and the other. It's like, you understand how if I would have sat down and knew nothing and never thought anything stranger, that I said that God took one of his prophets and he was trying to go one way, And the Bible says that that the ass turned against him, right? That's the way it spoke. So being a kid in church, as soon as the guy's reading out the King James Version I was raised on, the guy goes, and the ass turned. And so he smacks his ass, and then the ass turns around again. Like, it's funny listening to it as a kid, but you got to realize that whether you like that word or how you perceive it or whatever, if God's willing to use an ass to make the prophet turn around, you know what I'm saying? He's trying to speak to you through his written word. You might want to read a little bit more. Anyway, for me, watch and listen to some of the things that's going on around you. And what's strange about COVID, I think, is Stephen King, the movie The Stand. It's one of the movies I loved watching as a kid. It would come on, it'd take like an entire week to play out. It was like 4 hours long. I worked at the steel mill years ago. I watched this thing several times all the way through. Long weekend, I'd get off. I want to tire myself out. I'd watch the whole movie, right? But for more than, I don't believe everything he says in the movie is exactly going to happen the way it is. So please be clarified that I want to clean that statement up. But if you watch the beginning of the movie, they're working on this lab. They got some sort of virus. Somebody somebody drops it, it breaks, it gets out, they try to contain it. And then the death in the movie is way more accelerated. But at the same time, the way that the COVID started, had a very similar acceleration of what they released and what they thought they knew they could control, because there was still, there was people who were getting sick and dying. And then there was a government running behind it. And it took a long while for the people who were behind it to actually die off, because they weren't immune either, because they didn't have an answer for it. So then it separates into some apocalyptical, and you can go watch the rest of it. But anyway, that being said, I found it very strange the way COVID started. It wasn't like the swine flu when I was younger. We went through the swine flu. We went through what is it? Bird flu. We went through all these things, but not one time was it ever so heavily triggered that it was like, oh wow, man, they're really going to stop the United States from this.
But also the other ones were contained.
There you go. So I hate to answer my own questions.
They were contained. But Ebola got to the U.S., but even when it got to the U.S., it was contained in Atlanta. No, one of the guys even
didn't they have a couple of doctors who flew in and they treated somebody and then they called
one and then one. Yeah,
but
why not?
But so do you think they give us the real numbers when people die in other countries? In America, I'm saying, because let's talk media. Like we can shift away. You guys need anything?
So I think it's very difficult when you have hundreds of thousands of people, when you have millions of people. I think it's very difficult to keep an accurate account.
Yeah, right.
But sure. But here's the difference. So some of these people that we say died from COVID probably did not die from COVID.
No, they didn't.
But some of those people that they did not count as a COVID death. You know what I mean? Some people may have actually died from COVID in their home by themselves. Right. You know, so I look at it like this. It's a plus minus in there. And to me, whatever numbers they're saying, that's around about the number that there is. But the thing is I've never heard, we're going into conspiracy later. I don't want to go
it's
too
okay.
far down that.
But I told you, we're gonna keep shifting all the way.
Yeah, shifting right and
left. Get to the point where we start on the shows and we're not comfortable.
So a lot of this stuff is not made for podcasts. A lot of this stuff is not made for internet conversation.
But who's to say?
Yeah.
Welcome to my podcast show. So I'm saying we need to talk about it. That's what I'm saying. Like you have.
So
we're breaking bread.
So again,
we're breaking it up.
We brought it up in the sense that I asked, "Are you guys scared of COVID? You're not scared of COVID." I'm not scared of COVID either. The reason why I'm not scared of it, because I also believe now that it's not a death sentence. We talked about this before. It's not a death sentence if you get COVID. There are ways that I think if you handle it quickly enough. Look, you find out you got COVID, go get treated. But in reality, what's really going on right now, and we had I won't call his name, but we had a medical professional in here in our last podcast.
Yep.
And he said, what happens and how hospitals are getting paid via COVID deaths. These are things that we didn't talk about in the beginning. It was left, right, it was too much. And again, I told you guys, and I don't want to get into politics of it, but I'm centrist, leaning left. But a lot of things we heard were so divided just because the country was divided based off of political nature. Mm-hmm. But if you sit back and look at the data that's going on and what's coming out, you just have to wait. You have to wait, and then you have to make your decisions on what you do in this pandemic via COVID. You have to make your decisions based off of the information that you have.
Okay, so I don't think you lean left. I don't. And I don't think you lean right. I think you lean forward.
Okay.
And I think, I know what I'm saying, because a lot of people feel that way. Like, yeah, if you have your points of views, but we're able to sit down and talk about it, we're not going right. Me and you ain't going right and left because we've been going nowhere.
But here's the thing.
But I'm saying
that should be good discussion. You know what I mean?
Friendship. You should be able to walk forward.
Yeah.
Hey, man, how you feeling? Because they're always, I have a gentleman on my Facebook to say this, but every time I post something, you see I'm poking the bear, right? And one person in particular that no matter what I post, he loves to come back and poke on me because I'm like, I don't know how to help you. You know what I mean? Like to me, you just feel blind, and I don't leave you aside because when you post stuff in rebuttal to whatever I've said, there's people who need to read, research, find that, and if you're bringing intelligent information to the conversation, I'm okay with that. I'm just telling you that you haven't presented enough to me yet where I feel like I should change my position. But I'm willing to compromise with you on it as long as we can talk about it. Because it's America.
But here's the thing. We've gotten so divided, which is real strange, right? Like, this is incredibly strange. If I'm in a bad place, if I'm in a bad situation, I'm reaching my hand up because I need help for you to get me out of there.
I don't know who.
But if I look up and I see that you got, you lean opposite of what I do politically.
No. Hey, buddy, grab the dogs. They're back there scratching.
You know what I mean? If I'm asking for help, do I care who's going to help me? I'm like, oh man, this guy is.
Which goes back to like Houston strong.
That's right.
Yeah.
But so today, and that's why it's hard for me to be on Facebook. I watch dog videos. I watch other things when I'm on Facebook. Love Facebook Marketplace. But the thing is,
it's good stuff.
It got so polarized on Facebook that I had to just step back.
Okay, so hold on. Do you think that because you partially lean left or partially lean right, back to conspiracies, in those, do you feel like Facebook? Because I mean, you don't know what kind of information. Listen, we read this stuff, we read the fine print. Who's really paying attention to what you're signing off on? And with their art, if they're marketing to you specifically,
they are.
And not that they say that. So you felt offended, so you got off, right? Where there's other people, right? And I'm saying lean in, who are feeding in more to what the media is saying to them instead of what's happening in their community and neighborhood around.
The only thing that I'm trying to state to people is what I want everybody to know is they know which way you lean on Facebook based off of what you do.
But my question
and so what they do
is conspiracy. They're pushing it.
No, they don't have to push it.
You don't think so? You don't think they add information just to you?
They're giving you more of what you want.
Which would be like motivation or manipulation to keep you going the way that they're happy with.
But they're going. But to me, so what they do is they're further pushing you down that rabbit hole.
Well, okay, because that is a down the rabbit hole. Joe Biden is deep down a rabbit hole. To be honest, like, have you listened to anything this guy's had to say?
He's great. He's great, man. He's great, man. He's great, man. I got Joe Biden. I got my check. I just want to let you know you're great, man. You're great, man, Joe Biden.
Yeah, we need no 2000.
Right?
No, I'm kidding.
No. But let's say down that rabbit hole, a lot of people are because we're talking about the trial, right?
Yeah.
The thing that's going on. Let's say the things that we discussed off air, and George Floyd, right? So the whole George Floyd, the trial's going on. The idea of how that's all coming down and going out. I really feel like a lot of people were fed into aggravation mode. That they had their pinned up, for lack of better words. You're pinned up, you're at home, you got nowhere to go. Now you have emotions, it's driving. People with agendas, right? Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to say conspiracy theorists all the way to the rest of this. People who have driven agendas are using social media as an outlet to drive what they're doing. So in counterpart to that, right? So my statement that I say is that based on the podcast and things we're doing, I like the fact that we're really trying to bring this to the table. I said not left, not right. We're trying to go forward together. Right. Like that was the whole. Was Obama running underneath that crap for a while?
I thought it was you. I was like,
that was good stuff right there. So, but going forward together is a matter of they're preaching love and acceptance and all this other stuff. And I watched the media or what was being played, and I almost to the point where it wanted to push me into my feelings. Right? Like, am I mad and angry? I'm like, well, my question is why are they allowed out of the house to throw stuff around? I'm good with that. You mad? Go be mad. If that's how you feel. You may suffer repercussions for it. I probably wouldn't do it myself. But at the same time, can I just open my business up and run? You know what I mean? Like it put me in a spot, like I said, even going through it back then, that I felt like I was correct in my conspiracy theorist forum that where I'm at today versus where I think a lot of other people, because we were to the point that back in August it almost crushed us. I don't really ever talk about that. But I got to a point at my birthday and I was like, look, I'm either told my son, I said, Alan, I said, bud, we either are in, right? Because I tell you why, because somewhere in the Bible there's some story, right, that I read as a kid, which I guess would be my ultimate conspiracy theory at this point, right? And we're on Resurrection Weekend. I want to touch on that. So going into that is that I looked at it and there were a couple of lepers laying down in the field. They're like, hey man, we sick, bro. We're going to die. We're going to die. 10 of them sitting there, I believe it is. I might be wrong. I think there's 10 of them sitting there. They're like, we're going to die. And one of them, it only took one person to stand up and say, you know what? Let's go get something to eat, man. We starving to death. They said, no, they're going to kill us if we go into town. We're lepers. We're sick. Got that virus. They're going to kill us. One of them, and only one of them, stood up against what everybody else was saying and said, fine, convinced them. Let's go down there, get something to eat. And by the time they got there to get something to eat, the people in the village had already cleared out. God had already cleared away because they decided we can either sit here and die. And when we got to the point that we're looking at ourselves like, man, we're going to die. Most people said these businesses fail within 2 years. We have a lot of other stuff going on, that are going against us. And because we're in a car shop, hot rod shop, whatever, we should be dead. But that little conspiracy inside me said, hey, listen, we're going to die anyway, right? Well, you go with me. We're going to go down there. We're going to go get something. And if they kill us, at least we die trying.
But so here are great motivators. Fear is a great motivator.
Right.
Anger is a great motivator.
I agree.
Hunger is a great motivator.
Hunger
Get your ass up and make you do something.
Well, if you're not, my thing is that we could go to the $1,400 check thing again for everybody who's out there, right? Who's going through something. If you ain't hungry enough to feed yourself, you ain't got enough hunger yet. Entrepreneurs, more specifically, who watch this show, if you ain't found it to a spot where you're so hungry to get up and go, you got hungry enough to get up and go, what'd you do? You started going after the cattle, started going after the land. You started plotting a plan. You did the right thing. Biblically, you did the right thing because you planned the cost of the tower before you built it. I want to tell you that. That's what I like about you. And you found yourself in a position where you were thirsty for something, longing for something, and you wanted to give back, right? So you created this beautiful podcast that we get to share this stuff off of. That's what I like about the people around me who are keeping me driven, keeping me going, not keep me afraid of COVID and what's going on, but letting me know that, hey, man, I have the same kind of thoughts. At the same time, it's like, could I be thinking about, I ain't seen some places, and since we've been on the show, I'm telling you, I am jealous, bro. I want to go see the Costa Rica. I want to go travel. I like, you know what I mean? And I know there's some rough places.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
But if they're going to tell me I got to get a vaccine to do it,
right,
I don't feel
right.
personally like I'm in any kind of damage for my spirit and soul, then I'm going to get my vaccine and go travel the world for a minute because, I'm not going to let that much fear be in me to say, I'm just saying I'm being mindful from my conspiracy theory to pay attention to what's going on around me, first and foremost, because I'm in this for me and my family, and then outside my family to my friends and my community and everybody else. I just think that personally, through the course of the last year that COVID happened, I stay astonished at some of the things around me, but at the same time, if you're allowing whatever fear you're allowing to run your life, it doesn't have to be COVID.
Look, that's what they're doing. So they're using fear.
Right.
They're using our anger. And where are they doing this at?
Social media.
So social media. So they used to control a lot of our thoughts because they put these images on TV. They either subliminally or they let us watch these TV shows and then they put ads in there. And we'd hear that, or you'd watch your favorite sports channel, or you watch your news, and that's where we got a whole bunch of stuff from. But then all of a sudden it changed with the invention of the wonderful internet. And by the way, I love the internet. Hey, social media. The thing is once you get on social media, now they're using that even more so than they were when they were controlling us with the TV set. So now what they do is,
But the TV set's in your hand.
so here's the difference.
It's conspiracy theory. I'm just bringing that up.
So I'm Ray. I'm center, lean a little bit left. I get ads and I see stuff when I go on Facebook that continue to send me down the left
side
rabbit hole. You're Charles. You're the conspiracy theorist. You like certain people in the government, et cetera, et cetera. They start feeding you all these other stories and how you should hate the left and how all of these things are going on. And they put a lot of stuff out there to anger you. So the reason why I know this, which I never knew that they were so sinister in doing this stuff, is I get home, my wife said, "You see this story in the news?" I'm like, "What story is that?" And then she says something that I did not see, and I've been in the news all day long.
The news on your phone though, right?
Yeah. Where else do you get news today?
Right. You got it right.
That's what I'm ultimately asking.
Where
Where
else
do you get your news from?
Where else do you get news from?
I'm saying look around the people in the neighborhood around you, right? If the whole world's burning, I can't run. I have a hard enough time getting outside of the 5 mile. Well, I'd say 50. I would say from Brookshire to Katy, I'm pretty good for about 15, 18 miles, right? That's the road I'm traveling right now with everything else that's going on. It's being fed from the inside outside. I'm paying attention to my 18 miles, right? Give me my small square, right? Anything they say, give me a small square and let me be out there. That's what I'm trying to pay attention to. Which stores have masks, which don't have, who's shopping here, who's shopping there. How do people, react or don't react to me wearing or not wearing a mask when I'm inside their places, trying to figure my way through, like, I don't know, like everybody else seems to me like everybody else, like you're saying, like they're being pushed to be
Either side. If you resent someone trying to control you or somebody trying to poke the bear and push you to move or operate or act in a certain way, I resent that. I don't like that. Yeah. And once you know that they're doing it, shit, I want to cut the cord as quick as possible.
Yeah.
They're telling me that I shouldn't sit here with you and talk politics, talk COVID, or whatever that we happen to not agree about. But in reality, we sit down, we find out we have a whole bunch of stuff in common.
Way more in common.
Way more in common. But if you start picking on these things and keep blowing them up even higher and higher, when I come and I see you, I'm like, man, your side did all of this.
Don't it sound more like a family argument overall?
No, man.
I'm gonna say no.
You know why it doesn't sound like family?
No. Hold on. At the same time, do you know people who are family members who have gotten into a fight over something that sounds as stupid as COVID or a vaccine, and they don't talk to each other, right? But it sounds like all of America's fighting like brothers and sisters fighting in a house where they're,
That's insane to me that this happens. That's absolutely insane.
And now it's making a division to family.
Even in families. You tell me another time in our lifetimes that we've had something to where, man, it's divided people, it's divided families. When have we been so polarized, bro?
Man, I'll tell you one time. I worked at the city of Hamilton when I was a kid. I said, young teenager. Somebody OD'd on some crack, whether or not the cops killed him, it happened, it didn't happen. I saw riots and stuff in my little hometown right after the thing in California. What was that? Rodney King.
King?
I didn't know. I'm going to be honest. Living in the middle of America with a lifestyle that I had as a kid, I didn't know people hated each other. I really was belligerently unaware to how much people didn't like each other. I just thought that there was the bullies in my neighborhood.
So,
which is also why I try to steer away from, and I do poke the bear back a little bit from time to time. To me, it feels more like the bully. You're leaning me a little too far left, man.
Come here.
No.
So what do you think about now? I don't even, just like ourselves, I don't even watch news. Our news is on the phone, but now they're talking about it's a Ford something with the COVID, like with the first strain, the second.
Oh yeah, the fourth wave.
And they said,
now we're on the
did you
fourth
see
wave.
that? They said, doom.
So what it looked at me like, if you go fourth wave, right? I'm going to go back. I'm going to say what am I feeling on COVID, and we'll go from here. We'll record it, see what happens. If I'm right or wrong, okay?
Let's look at the comment section as soon as
right, yeah. Make sure to mark that. Like I said, I'm big on this lately. Like I'm bad for writing it down, so mark this digitally. It's either going to be up there or they're going to take it down. I will be conspiracies, right? Anyway, no, I think that they accidentally, maybe they've been messing with something. They released something into the air. Way too many chemical warfares around the world. Way too many things going on that, people are fighting over. We have no idea. And that's why I don't trust the United States government. When they say that they have weapons of mass destruction that Saddam Hussein's building them, we're working on it. For all we know is there was a group of scientists paid by somebody else. I'm talking like Back to the Future. Could be that kind of crazy, right? But at the same time, somebody has made something in a lab, like our medical, right? We do have a medical professional that talks to us off air, so we do have somebody we can say we have relatable information from. What I would ultimately say is that it was made in a lab. Somebody somewhere along the lines either screwed up or they decided to put it to use a little too soon. And I feel like the first wave of people that passed away that we lost were probably the ones that were most susceptible, or they were closest to the release spots, right? So they had a higher dose concept,
higher dose
radiation, right?
That makes sense.
You have different survival rates,
right? That makes sense.
Then when you have the first wave hits, you have some people dying. Like, oh crap, it did work. Okay, now what? Well, what was Plan B in this action? All right, let's since we need a little time to swab them and test them and get some data, we need to collect data, right? That's just the way I'm seeing it. Okay, we did it. Now we need to collect data. Right. And I still feel like it's all being driven towards a one world government kind of push that I don't accept. I don't like. I'm real. Listen, America might be the great whore of Babylon, the mystery Babylon in the Bible, and I'm okay with that, right? At least I know what country I'm in. Okay, it was good for a minute. Here's the thing: is God had a lot of grace on Israel. If you read throughout the Old Testament, I'm hoping God gives us a little bit of grace for this COVID thing. That's where I'm at. But if I have to step back and look at it from where I feel like it's going on, because I'm dealing with the data in front of me, they swab a bunch of people, right? They separate people because they're like, okay, we don't want it to spread too quick. It's going to affect and grow differently in different people. Every virus, once it's taken effect, if it don't shut you down, the next time you got to go back and get another quote unquote flu shot is because it's mutated, right?
Yeah.
Mutated
Some
of the time, whatever, quote unquote. What I'm saying. So yeah, what? Well, there's another scripture in the Bible. We ain't ready to get there. We will one day. But what it actually, when you're looking at it, the first group of people to me, they're like, okay, some people died, put them all away. All right, now let's see where our data comes from. Give me test strips. So they start swabbing test strips, and it was more in certain areas than not in certain areas. They did have a definite concentration, it seemed, to get data from. Because if that's what I was going to do, and I'm a little kid, I put a sculpture on a thing in fifth grade, and I'm trying to find out, which one's worse if you pee in the boys' bathroom. Is it next to the toilet? Is it in the urinal? Is it next to your hands? This was my science fair project, right? Like, I'm not speaking for something I sound stupid over, but this is what I researched as a kid. And I'm like, dang, where would the concentration points be for bacteria or flu in those areas, right? So now I have data to collect from. So is it able to be accelerated or decelerated, killed, controlled? Did Clorox take care of it, or did Dawn dish soap take care of it? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Is it hydroxychloroquine, or is it something from Pfizer or anybody else? This is the way I see it. So you go into the second wave, right? Everybody's put away. We put the swabs in the nose. And now we're looking at a third wave of people who are getting sick and dying, like my grandmother. She's older. She didn't die the first round. She didn't go out the second round, time around. Is the virus mutating to a point that eventually it's going to kind of single out people who may have gotten a vaccine set, or those who get a new, different vaccine set. And they go, hey, by the way, we know you got your first and second shot, but all these people are going to get one shot at a time. It has all three. Now we've beaten the fourth wave. Where's the stopping point is what I'm asking. Yeah. Because it seems to me that the virus itself has begun to mutate in different ways. Did it kill some people? Absolutely. Yes. I have a cousin who's currently, I hope she's online watching. I love you to death. Mama T, we're praying for you. But I have family who are getting affected by it. And to me, she might not be the healthiest person, but she doesn't look like a kind of unhealthy person who would just fall down and be in the hospital for the past few days, just shy of being on a ventilator, and so I'm still steering clear for myself, looking at, am I ready to take that step? Did Trina, I haven't talked to her. I don't think she'd taken any shots or anything like that, but is it affecting my grandmother? And, because to me, the virus is a very personal thing. I'm looking at it from the outside in, trying to be accepting of everybody's feelings and how they're going. But for me, being conspiracy theorist master myself,
let's stay in the conspiracy theories.
I'm looking at it like, what is the next step that I might possibly be getting through because it hasn't affected my own body yet, right? And will it ultimately get us to a point where it's, God says, you know what, in the Bible, he says, I've given you medical for, doctors to heal things. Does it get stopped, or ultimately is this something done by evil people who just want, the hearts are just so evil, they just want to get control, and they don't mind if they make a few people upset. To know to do the right thing and do the wrong thing, that's what the sin would be. But to know that if I get you upset, it's like you remember being in school, somebody would be like, hey, yeah, well, you said this and he said that. All right, go get him, man. Yeah, you're gonna F that dude up, right? At 3:00, boy, I'm gonna bust a head. Yep. That's the way it felt like. The internet, to me, felt like it was coming off towards certain people, because I didn't act or react on the other side of what I was seeing either, which put me in a drawback point. which is when I decided to start changing what I would post, share, and talk about.
But these algorithms are smart. They already know who you are, Charles, and they're doing it to you.
Well, I'm very,
so here's the other
certain
thing.
of that.
But here's the thing about the fourth wave. So the same thing. This is along the same thing what we've been talking about. We all sit not scared of COVID. So what do? They come out the fourth wave now. To what?
So
again, to motivate people to create more fear.
And now they're gonna do it
again. Yeah. So now remember now, we're starting to open up slowly. We're starting to open up in places. Like, man,
so if you're
they're too smart. Man, we can't keep them in. I know what we'll do. Hit them with the fourth wave. We're on wave. Look, PS5 can't come out good enough. PS5 can't come out, but we're on the fourth wave already, man. Come on. As soon as we get comfortable with the fourth wave,
at the same time,
they're going to come out with a fifth wave to try to instill more fear.
If I was the person controlling fear, I would, before I insinuated fear, I would want to feel like I had control of fear. And that's why I feel like that 1%, this elitist, super, what do you call them, narcissistic, like that kind of attitude, personality. You don't like the big mean orange man, whatever, Trump. I get that. But at the same time, I respected some things about him that not everybody else did, right?
Me too. There's something.
I didn't agree with him. Should have stayed off Twitter. He's old news. He's old, whatever, at this point. But I would say just the way that they use this to drive so much, the way that they want. That's what's scary. Is because it almost is like they are in control of the
who
fear.
is this they you speak of?
That's the question.
I'm saying those people, the elitists, or those who feel like there maybe should be less people on Earth, or maybe just a group of people who are running around and said, "Hey, man, let's try that virus out." They tried it. Now they're going, "Oh crap, what do we do?"
I don't think they're going on.
Could it be?
No, I don't either. See, I don't either. So if they're not saying, "Oh crap," what do they say?
But
what's the next step?
But outside of the virus, we all know that the virus is there. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But outside of the virus, what are they doing? They're still working on dividing and
The new
why do you
world order,
divide people? Why do you divide people? To conquer. So why are they sending me certain information and sending you opposite information? So we're button heads.
They are.
We need to find out who they are.
Well, I would say the hearts of evil.
Who love to, yeah, and that's exactly who
And
they are.
I think
The angels.
I think they're on both sides, right? I think you're finding. I think there's people. I think there's evil. That's why I say I don't want to. I may vote for a more Republican thing, but sit down and talk to me sometime. You'll understand why I feel the way I do. And if you don't, it's okay too. But that's what I'm trying to use the platform for. I'm not so much saying that the people on the right are absolutely right. Absolutely, I don't think so. I think there was far too many people in the Christian church who went after Donald Trump's going to be the new savior, and it kind of overblown. And that's very upsetting to see so many people who are believers follow so far. At the same time, I find that there's so many people who feel to go their own way that they just kind of openly blinded whoever they were told to vote for because the other person doesn't like you. So that's why I said I want to help people get away from being left and right. Let's start moving forward together.
The only thing.
So you think there's a fourth wave? Though I want to back that. So fourth wave. How far are we going with this?
Did you see the second one? Did you see the second wave? Did you see the third wave? I'm telling you, man. I'm trying to get my son a PS5, man. But the fourth wave is already out in less than a year. Bro, somebody call Sony.
No, it is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's built and made and designed to do something, and it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
So you exactly.
Until
You were saying
fear
that
controls everything.
Exactly. But here's the thing. So wave 4, but they're different variants that they're saying out there. And now that they tell us, and again, it sounds like they're trying to get us scared. But when you're already not scared of the dark, even if you turn out all the lights, I'm still not scared, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're saying that this wave 4.
Don't put a bear in the room when it's dark too. Now you might have to worry a little bit.
Crazy. You crazy.
I was like to add the variables.
We bear barbecue at the end of the day.
Right. When you see me fighting a bear, you better send some help to the bear.
But now they tell us there's a South African variant, there's a variant in Europe, there's a variant in Brazil. They're telling us that now it's mutated to the point that they're not even calling it, the same COVID that's here. They're saying it's a totally different COVID now. Yeah. But again, is that to drive us to be scared, to continue to be feared?
Yeah. I said, ultimately, what's the end goal? Who knows to that? But
What about with these Nike shoes?
Nike.
Did you see that?
that?
The new Satan shoes.
Look, see this? Let me tell you what. I'm still
And
wearing
it
my
has a
Nike.
drop
There's blood in
I
it.
didn't.
There's
it
blood in it.
I didn't. These ain't got no blood in it.
No,
I
got
didn't
blood
go buy-
in it.
I didn't
Look.
go buy. I think it's kind of stupid. Okay, if they'd have left out the fact that it had actual blood in it, they probably could have pulled it off because it's a publicity stunt.
Yeah.
To me, it's no different than Alice Cooper, Twisted Sister, a bunch of the other things, music-wise, that I was raised up. Or think about people who saw like Ozzy Osbourne ripping off a bat's head.
That's
right?
true.
Shouldn't we have gotten COVID a long time ago? I'm
Yeah.
just,
That's
you
correct.
know, that's it.
That's how you know they
what
come
I'm
from a bat.
So-
Come on, man.
So, but I don't think you should be one of those people who run out and just burn your shoes because you're mad.
No.
I said, there's a lot of other people who out there are living with, not say back to the church people only, because you brought it up. Those people that I'm trying to talk to say, don't go burn your shoes. Because listen, did you buy the 666 shoes? No. Is there really a drop of blood in it? Man, are you going to cut it open and look for it? Right. That was my question. You really, and it's only a certain amount of people.
Whose
if that's,
blood is it?
right.
Whose blood are you putting in my shoe?
It just says a drop. Human blood, I think. But
Yeah, it said a drop of human blood,
It
right?
wasn't endorsed by Nike.
It wasn't endorsed by Nike. So again, what happened?
Yeah.
The media jumps out. I'm on TikTok, right? It's studying my algorithm. And the next thing you know, I'm seeing, like, since we're talking about that too, I see these Christian people jumping up and they're, I've been watching them, I'm following them preaching. They're like, yeah, to the hell with Nike and damn the devil. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, you just burned up all your shoes that you were given because you feel like you've gotten some pagan thing. Bro, if you're a Christian person, you were sold into some pagan stuff a long time ago, right? The last thing you need to do is be out on social media blasting people over some shoes or trying to throw them away to prove a point.
Here's the thing: why are they driving us again on fear, right? Or
It's like-
anger?
Or anger.
They're
different
using those two
sex.
things.
But I'm
They
saying,
use fear and anger
so
all
I
the
see
time.
that, but I'm saying from the right side, right?
Mhm.
I see something that lift these people up, and I'm not looking at them. I'm looking at them more like where they're at spiritually. I'm like, wow, you are really far off. Like,
And the
you got-
next caravan that is coming, they got another camera of
Well,
immigrants
and they
coming
went.
through.
So they went to the border, right?
Yeah.
If we're going to touch on that, they go down to the border. So are the videos true? Not true? We got Fox News. We got the other news. Who's what's
Who's
going
right?
on? What I can say is that I'm not saying what's going on at the border right this very minute. It's not a travesty. What I'm saying is that what's been going on at our borders for years is a tragedy. This has been bad, and now they just find. I'm saying, but now you get more people. I'm saying you get more people. They're talking about getting separating from their kids. I'm asking myself what kind of parent sends their kid to a country unattended to start with.
See, I want you to leave the U.S. because I want you to see some real.
Yeah, that's what
Oh, but
I'm
I'm
saying.
There's some real
but I just
gangster
said
shit
that.
in another country where
I want to go.
you would take your only child and put him on a boat and say go that way because that's a better life than what's going to happen. I know because
what
it's like I can't believe that's how bad it is in some areas.
Oh, but I'm saying as American
And this isn't COVID.
citizens,
That's not COVID.
forget the COVID. Since we get a new topic, if it's American citizens, then we should be discussing the fact why we send so much of our tax money to other countries for something other than COVID, and we're not sending it to the border. And I'm not saying to build a wall, but to do something about the humanitarian effect that we're neglecting at our border.
So
because there are parents out there who are willing to. So if we're not willing to love and accept the people coming in, they're kids. And I know that pulls on a very emotional thing for a lot of people. At the same time, I'm asking myself, what kind of government am I trusting to tell me to get a vaccine who ain't smart enough to take the money that you take out of my check because I love being here, and you're sending it to the border, and you're not sending it to the border to take care of the problem, but now you're telling me there's a bigger problem.
When they were sending that money to the other countries, what was that money for?
Man, they had some money for
a lot of money.
Why?
Well, I'm not
But
saying-
why?
They had one of it was like boy-girl studies. It was transgender studies or something. Dude, I really don't listen. If you feel like you're a boy, you feel like you're a girl, I promise you, take it up with Jesus. I can't help you with it.
See, you saw that. So you saw that particular because which way you lean. So
No, I looked at where they sent all the bills down, where all the money's being sent to.
So I never saw that. But what I will tell you that I saw, or I know about the money that we used to send down to Central America and Mexico, there were programs there in reality to try to keep a lot of those people who are not the same people, but trying to keep people like the people who are in the caravan or coming to the U.S. That money really kept them there.
Yeah.
It was focused on helping. It was social programs and for communities, and those people were there. So El Salvador is one of the most gangster countries, and people are dying. And
Honduras.
Honduras too, both of them real bad. So they were trying to get programs involved.
Okay.
So some of that money did that.
Can I stop for just 1 second though? If we're having to send that much money to other countries, what is going on in that other country that I can't see? That's allowing the leadership of that country to allow it to be ran like it is, right? At what point do those people finally decide that it's July 4th, 1776, and they say, you know what, enough of this? When, to me, I feel like there's not enough people willing to stand up because, and I say that because I watched the Chapo. COVID hit. I had some time on my hands. I watched the Chapo
Netflix
series. I watched the Netflix. I went through all that stuff. And when I started to learn, I said, man, those governments don't love their people less than my government says that it loves its people. That's horrible.
Say that again.
Those governments love their people less than our government says that they don't love our own people to start with. Like, we're not taking care of our homeless, our vets, a lot of other people. Let them, I mean, you got tent cities everywhere. Back to that, swing that back to the COVID. How come the tent cities aren't dead by the thousands, but yet the hospitals in New York and Miami and the major cities like Houston are getting overrun or they're at 75, 95% capacity? We can take that into a whole nother conversation another day. But where they're at right now, we're not spending our money taking care of our people here at home. And what I'm saying is that I would have liked to have seen the Congress that's sitting, that's leans left, who says I should be humanitarian, decide to spend the money a little differently, especially when it's at our border. That's all I'm saying. I would really have liked to seen a different effort there because I don't, as hard as it is, like the one statement is like, you shouldn't offend a child, you shouldn't hurt them. If these people are literally doing like Moses' mother did and say, God, I'm praying, and I'm saying their faces, I'm putting them in your hands. I'm saying America in itself is failing completely to pick those children up in that little basket, out of the water, bring them across the border, and if nothing else, put them in Pharaoh's house so they get a better raising. That's what I'm saying. And so like I said, that's my stance on it. But where do we fix that problem too? Like, where do we even begin to discuss where the issue is?
So I'm going to go back in time. I don't know. I'll go back just maybe 20, 25 years. So when I had a shop,
kid, man.
I know,
little
right,
kid.
right. That's how old I am. When I had a shop, I had a motorcycle shop, and there was a guy who used to come. He paid for us. He come from Mexico, spoke a little bit of English, just enough.
Yeah, you did tell me that.
Yeah. He would come, he would work, make his money, and then he'd go back to Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
He was illegal. He'd go back to Mexico. That's what people did. They'd make money in the U.S., in particular, even the people who would pick fruit. So they come over here for seasonal, pick fruit, they're illegal, and then they go back to Mexico.
So my stance on that is that when they come over and they take out for whatever they're taking out, right? The time that they're here, well, they could be damaged, they could be hurt. It's like paying insurance, right? If the people who are employing them, if the government was doing the right thing, and if people themselves were just doing the right thing, they'd be making sure they paid the income taxes based on what that is. And so it may drive the price of apples and oranges up a little bit, but when does it finally push on enough people who are in America to say, hey, man, where's the bleeding caused at? Like, right, where are we at? Wouldn't we do better by helping give those people a better opportunity? Because I don't see every square acre of America is not covered with somebody living on it yet, right?
These people return back to Mexico.
Right, because they get a chance to come here to make better money that they can't make in their own governments, in their own countries. And what I'm saying is that when are we going to start asking other people to be responsible for theirs? And I don't think let me back up because that sounds even worse. I don't think it's right for us as America to go to the other countries, and maybe sometimes it might be the right thing, maybe it's the wrong thing to do, to take somebody else.
Made in China.
Right? I don't know. I'm not.
Made in China.
Hold on.
Is that not time?
No, I'm saying, hold on. No, but we go over.
But I'm saying, you said that, but we're buying. Look, this is made in China.
We raise and we lower.
It's made in China.
No, I'm saying we raise and lower other governments as we want to, right? But we're not. We go over and start a fighting a war because we want this person out. We want to put somebody else in power. This guy's being bad to the people. He bombed his own people. He used chemical warfare. And America gets so busy going over trying to tell everybody else what to do right, but yet they don't do right in their own yard. I don't think they do, right?
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying at the same time is at what point we're taking as many people in as we can, do we not start taking different stands and start teaching the people how to take a stand against the government's the same way that it happened
What
here.
people?
But it's an agenda.
I'm saying that the citizens of the it's terrible that the citizens are so overrun with either gangs, violence, drugs, or whatever.
So you're still in the same position that we are now. You're trying to save the world.
No, I'm saying, what's the government?
You said, why would the U.S. be doing all this in these other countries? So back when we used to do that.
No, I'm saying we should, but 25 years later, after 30 years, 35, after the Reagan, after the other stuff, watching what I saw, I realized something. I'm like, those other countries don't love their citizens at all. We claim to love our citizens, but we don't love our citizens enough, right? Because we don't take care of ourselves enough. We literally do not take care of America enough. If we did, we wouldn't need this $2 quadrillion whatever thing I just saw Joe Biden sign for infrastructure fixed.
2.2.
Right? I just the amount of waste that's in America to start with, because you're right, we did buy it from China. And we all say that it's bad that Hispanics come and they got to work here and they go back to their own hometown so they get enough money, but yet all of us sit here unguilty feeling that we bought something from China for some child who made Nikes that are 666 and they're getting sold for whatever hundreds of thousands of dollars at the same time. Right? I'm saying the right and left themselves spend way too much time fighting between themselves and not getting anything done for our own people, because if we help ourselves first, we could be a better light to help other people help themselves.
So that to me bleeds into what path I'm on now, and I really didn't know it. It's kind of starting to reveal itself. The thing is to not be a consumer.
Yeah.
So the thing that I want to do is I want to not be.
I say that while I own a business who does well. And
no, but you're working. So the thing is that instead of us using, let's say, cash or money in order to operate amongst ourselves, look, I need you to do something. How about we trade out work?
Trade out. Yeah.
We barter.
But
let's not be the consumers that we've turned into.
150 years ago, 150 years ago, 200 years ago, minus the slavery dumb set that we did, right? People were. I'm saying it was stupid.
Bring the tacos.
It still happened in other parts of the world, but we ain't ready for that conversation either. But there's a matter of where people took care of each other. I had cattle. You had sheep. You had chickens. You had rice. You had corn.
Yeah.
We had that kind of trade.
Yeah.
And you know what we didn't have? We didn't have a bunch of people fighting to go to college who were in debt either. So I'm not saying make America great again. I'm just saying like make being self-responsible great again. Make self-responsibility great again.
What I'm saying is we should go. I'm not saying make America great again. Let me start off with that statement too.
Hold on.
I'll bring my hat.
Well,
wait.
Can I
bring the
before you go any further, let me just do this.
What I am saying is that America has taught us, has trained us to be the most perfect consumer in the world.
Yeah.
But that's not where it's at.
Back
in the day,
I noticed you got Nikes on. They're worn though. They're worn. You got I see pockets, man. Those are
Get out.
But I say that because there used to be a way where we bartered, where we traded services. Hey, I'll do this for you. Okay, and then you do that for me. We did a lot of that. We raised our own food. We raised our own animals. And we kept it.
Speaking of food,
back in the community.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said bring the tacos.
Speaking of food, we did have tacos because we didn't get raised. And that's where we started.
But you're right. If we were to bring that back and be responsible, like you said, and we can actually not worry about the money and all these things, and I have my skill and you have the skill, how can I help you raise my boys?
I got an app I designed for that. I'll have to explain it to you sometime. I'm gonna need you to sign some paperwork.
I mean, we can't totally pull out, cash.
No. Yeah, I know.
But for the most part, we should go back to a different type of a system of trading things out to where the monetary. This is perfect because it blends into what you were talking about. You say you do this because you love it.
Absolutely.
Sure. You want to make money, you got to pay people.
I don't make it nearly as much as people think.
But doing something because you love it, not because I just want to make money at it. I just want to,
I got very blessed to make money at what I love to do. But at the same time, when I worked on the railroad at the steel mill, I loved to drive the train. I think I applied that. I went after the jobs. I wanted to work at the steel mill. It made good money. I learned a lot of stuff. I was fortunate enough that they sent me to the community college so I can get an education to be on. Heck, man, I worked at the city. I loved building playgrounds. I didn't make a lot of money for it, but I found that if I look back at my life, honestly, most of the jobs that I took, I'd say to make the best of everything, but I tried to enjoy what I was doing with making money. And at the time, as long as I was living inside of being happy with the amount of income I had, I found that I wasn't living outside of excess, but I felt like I always had excess.
But imagine it and no complaining.
But imagine
that
if
was
more
my excess.
people, imagine if more people did what they love. You know what I mean?
The change.
Look,
I mean,
the
people-
quality of your work. The quality of your work is not because you know you're going to get extra $5. The quality of your work is because you love what you do.
Right.
You're in a space in which you're supposed to be in. Imagine us going down to the DMV where those people don't love their job, and then we got to deal with these folks, man.
Why do they act that way?
Why
That's
are
my
they so-
question. Why do they treat you bad?
Hey.
Like, I remember I went there and then like the lady's like sending me back and forth when I didn't even need. Like the other lady that was beside me, she's like, "Come here." She's like, "I'm sorry about her, but the stuff you gave her, that's it." She was making me go all these places, wasting time, and then waiting again. She said, "No, you got everything you need."
So you think that lady loves her job?
No,
Loves what she does?
no, she doesn't. But why would you treat other people while you're there and you don't like your job?
You don't like your job.
I'm like, come on,
It
what?
is just a job to her. It is just a check. You know what I mean? But imagine if that same lady was doing something that she loved, and
Ooh.
the passion that she would put into it, and then the quality of work that she would give to that would be way different than how she was treating you. So when you talk about taking money out of the equation, working for a monetary value, doing something because you actually love it, or it is a calling for you, that's way different than working because I want to make $1. You know?
Like you feel it.
So that's why I try to say, hey, look, let's pull money out of it. Because when you start talking like that, you know, I don't like talking money, especially if I'm trying to get something. Hey, look, we can talk about everything else we can talk about, but we're not going to talk about the price of it. The thing is, we need to remove those things because there's better ways to actually acquire things than just saying, hey, look, I'm going to throw money at the situation.
And that's everywhere.
That sounds
It's
like,
everywhere.
it sounds like,
It's
I'm
everywhere.
sorry I missed that. It sounds like a race car problem. I'm gonna just keep throwing
Race
money at it.
Yeah. But I'm saying in the sense of someone, he was talking about going back to the DMV, you know, the lady who attended him did not love her job, treated him bad. That's why
She loved her job the day she got it. Let's be fair.
She
Yeah,
loved,
yeah,
at some
she
point,
loved the idea of
she
getting a
liked.
check,
Yeah, she liked
of
the
a
idea.
steady check. But that's money.
I wouldn't say steady
That's like-
check. I don't know anybody who don't get a job at DMV and don't be like, oh, guess where I got a job at? I got a job at DMV. You somebody at that point. It's a social status. But go ahead.
Nah.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and I want to plug in the DMV DPS office in Brenham. I went there. Those ladies are lovely.
Lovely.
I went to Richmond, and those are lovely too.
What's the one on 59 South? That's where I always get on there.
That's probably the Richmond one, right?
Is that
59 South.
Richmond? Yeah.
Those really nice.
Yeah, they're
so-
nice. They're sweet. You walk. You know
You
why?
have to go out of the city,
That's why I
man.
go.
You
It's
go out of the
because-
city. And
No,
people
no,
treat you
no,
different.
that ain't that. It's because they give you chairs to sit down in.
No,
You ain't
they're
there,
nice.
aggravated. You get online. You know when you're supposed to be there. They organize.
Yeah, they are very
The
organized.
service is top notch.
You can get in and get out.
Yeah,
But
but
here's
they're
the
a
other
lot
thing.
nicer there.
I don't get treated bad in there. The lady's like, hey, how are you doing? You back?
Yeah.
That's how they treat me.
They
out in
even
Brenham.
kinda
They
remember
know,
you.
yeah. Well, they recognize me and my wife. You know, we walk in. You know what I mean? So we'll be back over there.
Oh, it's red.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Is he
it's
bringing
great.
food?
No.
Is he bringing food with him?
But he's like, we don't want a man's man. Look at those guns here. Oh man, this is.
But there's a difference when there's a calling, you know, because I think a lot more people need to focus on. And you just showed me that Gary Vee clip too. A lot of people focusing on their calling in life versus, and I know we all need to eat, right? Get a job, but always keep looking for your calling.
Yeah,
Because
keep
if
moving.
you, what's the saying they say? If you do what you love, you never work a day in your life, man. I really believe
I need
that.
a different career than
I really believe that, man. You never work a day in your life.
career.
You know what I mean? Look how much, you're in the brand new shop. Look how much love and attention you're putting up into this. I mean, you're still putting it together.
Yeah.
But I mean, you told me when I walked in here, you spent 7 hours.
7
man,
hours.
7 hours.
cleaning.
7 hours. And with a power, it's horrible, bro.
So imagine if a person didn't love what they did. They wouldn't even do it, man. Those
but
walls would
listen,
stay like
and
that.
that could carry into a lot of other things too. If you don't really love and appreciate what you have to start with, right? And don't ever forget that at one point, what you have today is what you was praying for yesterday. Just because you ain't arrived, you are in the stepping stages if you see those things happening in your life, right?
I think we need to slow down and recognize that too, right?
I was while I was cutting my fingers up on these walls.
I feel
they're
like
still sitting here. You can't see them, but they got little cuts all over the place from the sheet.
sometimes we're running too fast and we don't stop.
Yeah,
listening.
you never stop.
Yeah.
That's everybody in the world. Like if you tell them, they're like, "What are you doing?" Like, "No, I don't have time for this." And the same thing. And years pass, and it's like you see them again, and it's like the same movements. And oh man, you gotta stop. See the big picture. Smell the roses.
Right.
Shit, what happened if you die tomorrow?
So where are we at? We're 8:35. We got a little time left. So plugging for. Are you plugging for church today? Like you want to throw a plug out for where you're going? Saying the seats ain't filled, so do you want to send an invite to whoever sees us for where they might be able to get a chance to go? You good?
So again, I
have to wear a mask.
So no, actually not.
He had to stop. He's like, hold on a second.
So we were wearing masks.
Right,
We did not wear masks. We're back to wearing masks. No, it's
terrible.
Look, I would encourage anybody who's listening to our podcast, it's just to find, whatever religion you are, I would encourage you to go back.
Looking for something, if you feel like you,
please,
you need to. Right now would be a good time before the 4th, 5th, 6th wave. It sounded kind of Nazi-esque, like first right, second right,
6th wave.
It's scary stuff. It's scary stuff all the way around.
So is the 4th wave worse than the first? I have no fear of the 4th wave.
No.
And I'm not trying to play light of the situation. I recognize that COVID itself is bad. But I don't know the 4th wave. I know what we did in the 1st wave. I know how all that did. But again, if I don't fear it, you know what I mean? 4th wave,
Maybe not. Could be.
Until again, if we get more data on that 4th wave and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, bro over there got the 4th wave. Oh, he don't look good.
He ain't looking good.
Yeah.
He's like, he comes to you first and goes, hey man, get in the head, okay, in the head. When it comes to my time, don't feel bad for me.
So, I just, again,
there's your zombies. I promise they were showing
up. and I know a lot of times I might almost sound right-leaning in the way that I talk, but when you sit back and just look at it, and again, because I like to get news from both sides. I'm not going to get news just from one side.
No.
And again, the news is different. How two people may talk about the same situation may be totally different based off of which angle.
That's why you do your research. Like
you should look. You should look. There's no way that you should look at one thing and then say inform your opinion from that one side.
No.
That because they have motivation. They have whoever they're trying to feed on their side, or appease. So watch both of them, and then you make your decision, your informed decision from there, man. Yeah. So the way that I'm starting to look at things now is like, hey, man, they're good. They're good positive things that people are saying on this side. They're good positive things that people are saying on this side. And then I can formulate which is still, I'm going to wait on the vaccine to get more data.
It's a decision that you feel is proper for you and your home first.
That's right.
And that's something I can appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's, I need the vaccine, I got to go take it, do it. Okay. If that's how you feel, by all means, go and do it.
Yeah.
Right. If that makes you feel like I'll still stand at my point and say, I don't have enough data. I don't have enough that's conclusive yet for me to say, yes, this is best for me. No, it's not. And, I had the same things like, hey, man, your mom ever asked you when you was a kid, like, well, if all your friends jumped off a bridge, you going to do it too? I'm like, I want the first few hit and see how deep the water is. But then again, if there was money on the line, I'd be the first person on the bridge too, right? I ended up with a few broken bones that way. Mom, I love you. You're on there. I've seen that. I've seen that scenario played out the second way too. So maybe it was not just taking the initial jump that taught me the lesson to say, let's just see how deep that water is. Let's see how deep the water is first. And Jesus didn't come strolling along in a boat and say, come out and follow me. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to jump out of the boat right here. This is other people telling me that I should probably be afraid.
Oh, come on, you can walk on water.
Because Jesus did that, right? He come walking on the water to the disciples, and they're freaking out. And he goes, well, dude, don't be afraid. It says, do not be afraid. I actually use the scripture. I think it says, do not be afraid. It's just me. This isn't COVID's not strolling up like, yo, bro, how you been? Y'all think you can't catch anything? They biting tonight? I forgot my pole. You got an extra net, Yeah. But that's how to say. That's the way that for me. That's the way I see it. Like I don't have enough. I'm not completely convinced, but I'm not saying there's not something there. Like I guess I'm rolling the dice, taking my chances. But I'd say where I'm at so far, I'm not complaining. So.
But again, I always talk like right now in this situation, no new friends. I'm hanging around the same people I've pretty much been around, you know.
Yeah.
And there's also those people, you know, who live a similar type of lifestyle.
Keenan said, "Gotta love what you do. If not, you won't perform at 100%."
You just, I mean, you could be good.
Well, you can love what you do, and loving what you do. At
But
one
if you're
point,
not,
I'm saying,
you don't
but you
love
love
what you do.
okay,
You
well,
can be
let's
good.
go back to the exercise and that. You actually find a point where you go do it and you don't like it. You finally do it enough to where you're like, okay, I love this. And even the days that it's hard and you don't feel like doing it because you do love it, you do it anyway.
You do it,
right?
yeah.
Because you almost feel like you're cheating on yourself. Not even that you're cheating on a spouse. Is that when you're doing something, you're dedicated to it. Whether that's your homework, going to school, furthering your education, lifting weights or whatever. The day that you don't feel like doing it's usually the day you get the most out.
That's very true.
But it's a big thing too, in the sense that, you know, when I went in there, I was just going.
It looks like it was easy, man. We believe
No, man. It was
He
like,
walks
look,
in, the weights start moving out of the way. They start
No.
bowing down. The
I
weights.
walked in.
I saw you go in the gym. Hold on. Truth, this guy walks into the gym. I see the weights over on the treadmill trying to take some weight off because they don't want to get tossed around.
They said raise.
They were like, he needs the big ones. The 150s are over there. He's running on the treadmill, burning calories. He's like, I'm down to 145 pounds. He's not going to touch me today.
So the way that I got hooked, it wasn't going in there. It wasn't lifting anything. What I did see, one day I just saw a little bit of change in my body. I mean, something that, you know.
It was enough for you to like enough about it that
Yeah.
you saw a result.
So when I describe this, I know it's going to sound stupid, so I'll do it real quick, right? So when you make a bicep muscle like that, normally your muscle just goes like that. It goes from here all the way to the
Here, yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what I noticed was it didn't go all the way to the edge anymore. It stopped early. So then it was a little definition. It was a ball, and there's a space right here. That little change in how my bicep changed just opened up my mind that all of a sudden, man, I can do all of this. You can change your body.
Right.
I was older.
But it's
I
only
think I
changed,
started at 38.
but it's
man.
only changed under pressure. Perseverance,
Consistency. Yeah.
consistency.
Yeah.
Right.
But so what I'm saying is, even if, and I wasn't good at it, you know, I didn't go in there. I wasn't a strong guy. I just went in there to try to lose weight. And then
what we can.
What weight was you trying to lose, bro? 'Cause I didn't find it.
man,
I didn't find it.
I went
looking for
in
it.
there with a gut.
You did. I seen those pictures.
Oh man, what happened
The
was
big
when I
belly.
stepped on my scale at home, man, it went all the way around and made in China.
Ooh, maybe.
Yeah, it ran out of the numbers. You know, you get on the old scale.
It stopped working, and they were
Oh,
like,
man.
"We need a new child to get inside the scale."
Yeah,
Man,
so I
It's
was
not
would
enough
say-
way.
I said, okay, this might be my time to get into the gym. So I just went in there just to try to lose weight. That's all it really was. You know, I was like, all right, let me start doing something. I didn't even know how to lose weight, you know? So it really just turned into, once you see that small piece of progression, like, man, I did that.
But you perfected it enough times that you know where you're at, what the goal is, what it's going to take to be there, right? I mean, because you got, okay, but you're saying you went in with no experience.
No.
You went after something, found that you saw a result, you liked it, right? That's typically what starting a business is like.
Mhm.
And then once you've gotten to the point that you like it enough that you want to go do it all the time, you did do some videos, you did do some promotions, you did some contests. And
Yeah.
now, because you're well skilled at what you're doing, you know when you need to cut body weight, when you need to cut down, when you need to go up and down. And I think business itself looks like that. And if we treat our lives, I think bodybuilding probably does an even better description than maybe sports. And I skate that very softly because I love baseball. But self-taught, self-disciplined, self-trained, you know when to pick yourself up, when to listen to yourself, you know when to listen to your body, what to feed yourself, you know things. So you become more self-aware of what's going on. So spiritually,
Very
like I say, I mean, I got it. We're running short on time, so we'll wrap that out. But so spiritually, picking ourselves up with run on time. We are run on Easter weekend. I know
yeah,
I was
Easter
trying to plug
weekend,
you up to
yeah.
your church.
Yeah.
If you don't have a home church to go to, the one that I've been visiting for quite some time now and going through studies through is Hope City here in Houston. And I know it's part of a much larger network. It's great. 3 years ago, I came home from Florida off a trip. People told me I should have went there. I really wish it's one of the things I would have done sooner. Kind of like I wish I would have started. I probably should have started lifting weights again sooner because I'm really feeling small sitting next to you. So the next couple, I'm gonna get together. We're gonna get
Next
more
time we
days.
all gotta be beautiful.
All right. But Resurrection Weekend, we've talked about fear. You know, saying
Yeah.
God says you should have any kind of should be fear. Fear not. I think fear not's written in the Bible more times than
Yeah,
pretty much
it's true.
anything else. I believe that I might be wrong, but if you're willing, fact check me. We'll sit down and talk about it. If I am wrong about something, or you find that we're wrong about something on this,
Bring
please
it up. Yeah.
bring it to our attention.
Sure.
Sit down. We'll invite you on. We'll sit down. We'll break these topics up. We'll discuss it 100%. I'm always open with that. But for me, breaking bread ultimately is about that leadership role to sit down, because when everybody else sat down, they had a moment. Jesus, he broke his body. He said, "This is mine. It's broken for you." And that's the kind of life I think that I've been trying to portray to my work, to my family, to my friends, and more specifically to my church. Because through this moving and everything else, I actually made it. I found a way to become dedicated. I saw a change in my life, right, of spending enough time going to church that bicep finally curled the right way I wanted to. And I find myself, the more time that I actually spend going to church, focusing on going to the classes, taking an extra class, which I was always one of those people. I never had time. I was always too busy to be doing anything else. But more specifically, like this Easter, the way things are currently, in the world, is to have that idea that back to originally what we talked about when you said I have fear of COVID. Absolutely not. My fear is because my Savior overcame the world, right? And that's what this weekend is truly all about. It's not about the Easter bunny or maybe getting people to show up to church because you have some extra Easter eggs and the kids are involved, and maybe the mother and father who are struggling that weekend finally show up and meet Jesus personally. All those things, like I said, for me going into this is that I saw some changes in my life, and I'm very happy. So this is a first time in Easter in a long time. On a personal note, I lost my dad Easter weekend. So this year, Resurrection Weekend, trying not to get you choked. Welcome to the revision of what God can do. He can do it for me. I promise you, he can do it for you.
Absolutely.
And to see something that looked like it was old, dead, and decrepit to somebody else and not worth much, is to realize that Jesus sees you the same way. He's going to come in, scrub those walls, clean your life out, maybe help you stop leaning so far right, leaning so far left, that you actually can start leaning and walking forward in your life. Which I think all the things and the topics, that we go through here, it really is to discuss. I feel like if I'd had my dad sitting around with me, who could have said, "Hey man, what are you going through?" Or the way that I would have hoped that I could have had conversations. Maybe it's that conversation with you. Maybe some people have. You spend time, real specifically. You spend time with your mother on Friday afternoons. You go see your mother every day because you don't live there anymore. You go. Maybe you have somebody who's in a nursing home, so you make sure you go every Tuesday and see them or whatever. For me, spending that time with you guys is equal to the amount of time that I've spent with, like I said, since I did allow, because we'll get into those another day too. I ran into you, I haven't seen you in a while. Like, hey man, what happened to you? Different. Yeah. 100%.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's cool that you're here. You got to see the before and after, but to be able to share where we're at and where we're going, to me, feels like a new, almost like a new chapter in the story of Christ through my own life, like another piece of his gospel through me, of what happened once I finally got to the point that I was like, hey man, I'm looking, I don't really, maybe I did know something about it before, didn't know enough or however you want to look at it, but to get to that point that just like going to the exercise room, I get up, I'm going to church on Sunday morning, right? Going to my Bible study class on Tuesdays, hanging out with my good friends on Wednesday, trying to further, whatever I've learned, right? Whatever I've learned, what I've been through at the same time, say, hey man, you're the best news source I have. So, when the good news came about, Jesus was resurrected, I have a lot of things that I like around this day, especially for Wednesday, but we're, like I said, coming into this weekend, being able to give thanks for the true reason of what Christmas itself is, even because it's
Easter.
Yeah, there'll be a day. Let's put this out. One day there'll be a quiz of what's my favorite Bible verse, and it's when Jesus stands in front of Pilate. He says, "Thou art thou a king?" And Jesus said, "Yeah, thou sayest I am a king, but to this end was I born." That he realized why he came, and he was trying to tell them that I'm here for you. I'm here for what you're going through, and Additionally, if anybody listens to this, catches it later, you catch it online or one of the alternate places, by all means, track us down, find me. If one of these guys ain't got time to talk to you, then I will. If you haven't ever met the person that drives what I believe in, which creates my biggest conspiracy theory would be Christ rose from the grave. So I think it's a very, very fitting conspiracy to add to our conversation for the day. But I think I'm very thankful. I'm very, very thankful. I've had some good friends, good things in my life. And when we stop focusing on not so much to say the social media, if you find there's a problem with social media, as a wrap up, do yourself a favor, do like radio, go on a fast. That's actually what it's called. Fasting for social media, because it changes you. It changes the way, if you find yourself leaning left, leaning right, it's always okay to straighten yourself back out. If only God can judge you and you're good with his judgment for what's going to go on in your life, then by all means, I'd say take a moment to reset yourself, and don't be afraid to fail. Like, don't ever be afraid to push yourself to failure, because all failure ever taught me, I guess, especially in the gym, right, was that I had something to push over and push past. If I was hungry enough for that extra ripple, that extra set of veins that were going to run through my arms, or if I wanted to put half an ounce of mass on each leg, like what else was I willing to go through? And then realize that if you were willing to go through that and see the way your life is, then ultimately this weekend was about somebody else who loved you more than you realized for yourself, and was willing to put himself to the very end. So this is, like I said, this for us, we actually open up to the public on April 5th, which would be the day my dad passed away.
Wow.
So,
wow.
So not to feel like I'm saying I'm like riding and rolling and connected or whatnot. I say it just, for me, it further iterates that if you're looking for signs and wonders, they're in front of you.
That's right.
He's definitely presented himself to you all the time. And it's really a matter of not what information is given to you, but what's filtered to you through his spirit. And I think if you find yourself at a point where you want maybe whoop a little pity bull that you don't need, come here, then maybe that's something. If you see this and you want to talk about it, like I said, please by all means contact us. We've been on this road, right? We were separated for a minute. We come back and things are different. And I didn't know that you had been going to church and seeking God the way you had. And I had no idea what yours was, but you just said, is anybody willing to go? And I said, I am. And when I said, hey, man, I need a friend to go with me,
and we're here.
That's right.
And so we're here, right? So if nothing else, I tell you, we are three individuals, right, trying to find the path forward to what we feel is ultimately God's goal, pulling us forward. So I don't judge, I don't condemn. I choose to love, discuss it, talk it out, find a solution rather than give up. So I hope from where we're going to that other people will catch on to it. And again, it's all about that one. It's not about the 99.
There we go.
Realize today, as you go into Easter weekend, put that on your mind as you go into your church this weekend too, is that when you hung on a cross on Friday, you were the one. You weren't the 99. You're worth it. You're worth it. First and foremost, you're worth it. So if you're feeling like one of those bullies, right, you finally have control and little Fauci, somebody. Yeah, right. But I'm saying, like, all those things set with my mind, and to say, hey, man, can you ultimately find a way to be better than who you are, where you've been, and and now's a good time. Now's a good time to find yourself in, say COVID-19, series 2021.
2021.
You know what I'm saying? Change that up to Jesus 2021, and maybe he'll bless us and we'll have 2022 back, and maybe it'll be us who are watching you next time, or maybe you'll be here sitting with us, whatever road and path that may lead down. Realize that he had a purpose, and that purpose and plan is well worked out. Whether that's in what the rest of us consider to be, conspiracy theories for the wise, or maybe it is the resurrection conspiracy theory that ultimately sold me on the rest of what his word says and how to get there. I ain't saying one way or another, but what I am saying is I'm thankful.
Where you going, Rick?
He's
so we got to break fast still.
We still got a minute to break, so
I don't know if this is fit in there, huh?
which one? That one's not plugged in. Actually, you have to ask Alan. The other one's in the office. So, I'll tell you what, you ready? You ready to eat?
Shoot,
I
I
would
want
have
to break some bread, right?
Yeah, let's get this. Come on, let's
Supposed to
tell
be breaking
everybody.
bread, right?
Let's get it where we're at. You ready to eat?
Well, hold on. You gonna
Let's close this out. Let's.
Right.
I'll tell you what. At this, let's do it differently this time.
Okay.
Series 3. Let's bless the food
Mhm.
and let everybody else go to their evening. We'll sit down and have something to eat. Questions, comments, feedback. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Again, reach out to us. You're on the main page. Share it.
Oh yeah.
Like it. We appreciate it. That being said, you ready?
Yeah.
You ready to eat? You ready to eat? All right.
Yes.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for the wonderful time we've had. We thank you for those who are in attendance. We thank you for those who are going to see this in the future and have a chance to look back at where this all started and ultimately understanding that we give back to you what you've given to us, and that's life. The life that you give us more abundantly, that is not only in heaven and in the afterlife, but the life that we can have here on earth. So we thank you for that. We thank you for the food. We thank you for the provisions and everything that you give us. And we pray for those who are watching, who are listening, for our friends and family. Send your spirit to them, and in all things, Father, we give you thanks for you alone are worthy. We appreciate this food. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all so very much. We'll see you again next Wednesday. Make sure to show up at church. You know,
It's Easter.
it's
I mean, come on.
at least.
I always talk about body, mind.
Mine and so.
Feed your spirit. Feed your spirit.
Yeah, be a good weekend. Go break that bread on Sunday.
Break the bread and grand opening this Saturday.
Yeah, grand opening. Yeah,
So it's
let's
been
that.
planned.
Grand
so-
opening Saturday, 12 to 6. Parking lot's open. Don't block up the car wash. Make sure you keep that open. They'll be doing inspections, but we'll take as many people as we can pack in. We're looking forward to showing you where we're at.
Yeah.
Some of you've seen where we were to start with, where we are today, but really looking forward to show you where we're going to be at in the future. We got a lot of big plans for the place, and I feel like we're on the right path to get all those things done. So thank you guys. I love you all so very much, and appreciate you, and I'm praying for you.